Since Brett McGregor won MasterChef back in 2010, his journey with food has been a dream come true. 3 cookbooks, culinary tours, demos and TV gigs, including his own series, Taste of a Traveller, have seen Brett experience and share the flavours and exotic spices from across Asia. He describes his cooking style as tasty, fresh, seasonal and easily achievable. Kia ora, Whānau mai, haere mai. Welcome to our whare.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Oh, well, it's exciting. Nā te mea kua tūtaki taua. I've met you a few times and tried to sell all your books with you.
Yes.
Wena momo take katoa. This looks incredible. Beautiful ingredients. Engari, hare au ia koe. I'm not a master chef like you, so is this going to be tricky?
You know what? Food doesn't have to be complicated to be delicious, and that's kind of where I think I am in the food industry, trying to simplify things so that we're getting maximum flavour without all of the fuss. So both recipes are super easy to put together.
And it's also what your book's about too, because it's called Chop Chop, and it's kind of a play on ai, nor ahia. It's from Asia, but also chop chop, hurry up, let's do this.
We're all working pretty hard these days, so the last thing many people, not me, but many people don't want to do when they get home is to spend an hour or 2 hours cooking. So if you can get maximum flavour with a minimum effort, then you're doing something right. So
taua, taua. I think this is going to work. I'm keen.
So.
Okay. Hanga momo kai ka tunu e taua I te rane. So what sort of things we're going to make today?
So we're going to make a chicken claypot rice, which is kind of a little bit of Chinese inspiration, using some shiitake mushrooms. You could use any mushrooms you like, but these ones are just full of umami.
Hara he kupu tū atu, ne? There's not a word actually that encompasses everything that umami does.
No, you did right there, but I think for me it's really about meatiness and about a robust flavour profile that kind of adds to your dish.
Karawe tēnā, so that sounds good. Ka oti te awi tēnā, we could just have that, but we're not going to. We're also into a little bit of tarawera, hei hei anō. What have we got going on here? So
this dish is going to be a little bit inspired by Indonesia, so it's like a Nasi Goreng. And we're going to use a little bit of tamarind here as well, which is a sour note. Like with a lot of Indonesian food, peanuts.
Oh, yeah. Ngā harore, so for the shiitake mushrooms, you've soaked them, have you?
I've just put a little bit of warm water. These were dried, obviously. You can buy them sliced or whole like that. And as soon as you soak them for 10 minutes or so, they swell up and they become nice and tender. I'm going to call this kind of my Indonesian-inspired fried rice.
How te mahi whai ake nei? What do we do after that?
We're going to make a marinade. I've got some corn flour here, 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of Shaoxing rice wine, a teaspoon of sesame oil, 4 teaspoons of oyster sauce, pinch of pepper and a star anise.
Okay, that smells so good. Look at that star anise. Te whetū o te katoa, it's just like a little star over there. Engari he rawa ki au ngā harore, but I love those mushrooms. Me tuku te hei hei ki roto I nei, so we're going to put the chicken in there?
That's exactly right.
If you weren't here, I wouldn't even use tongs, to be honest, but...
Well, if you weren't, I wouldn't either. But if you don't have shiitakes, portobellos or button mushrooms, any mushroom is just as good, you know. Word for delicious, what's that in Māori? Is that reka?
Reka, or oishi.
Oishi in Japanese, yeah. Well, it definitely has a lot of that going on.
Got all of that, and the umami. Oh, we've got everything going on here. Engari me waiho ki te taha, ne? So you want to leave this marinade?
Outside of the refrigerator with chicken, you don't want to normally go for any longer than 20 minutes. But if you cover that, put it in the refrigerator, it could be overnight if you really want it to. So the longer you can leave that in the marinade, the more flavour you're going to get, the better and more delicious it will become.
How ngā kai whakauru? So what are the ingredients we're going to put in here to make this paste?
Okay, so we've got some garlic and some shallots, okay? And we've added in 3 to 4 chilies. Do it to taste. If you don't like chili, you don't have to put them in. You could use a bit of red capsicum.
Tangohia ngā kākano, and you're going to take the seeds out?
Yeah, I take the seeds out when I'm using any more than 3 or 4 because obviously there could be 500 seeds in there. And then to kind of bring everything together, you just want to add in about a tablespoon of oil, and that should just blend together really nicely. Now finally though, to add in just one more layer of flavour, we've got some peanuts here and we're just going to toast them off in a pan until they get nice and dark, and then also add that into the paste.
Pehe tēnei hoa, how's that looking?
Oh, it's looking superb, actually. For me, nothing beats the smell of onions, garlic and chilli, especially when they start to cook.
Hea kaka, it's like boom.
Totally.
Kei te tāria ngā peanuts, so we're just waiting for the peanuts.
Yeah, they're just starting to get a little bit of colour. You can see the natural oils coming out of those peanuts already, and that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Me te tāwara hoki, so the oils and the flavour are what you're wanting to put into the paste.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nei, we're on to this Indonesian-inspired fried rice, ne?
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to get our rice into the clay pot. 3.5 cups of chicken or vegetable stock, a tablespoon of veggie oil, you need half a teaspoon of salt, 3-4 slices of ginger, 2 spring onions that have been sliced.
Cool, kua timo tēnei wā, so that part's done.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Now we've just got to wait for it to cook and then we get to eat.
No, that's the hardest part. The tatari, it's hardest to wait.
Yeah, it is. Gas on to a nice high heat, about a tablespoon of oil.
Okay.
And what you need to hear at home is that. You hear that at home, then you know you're doing something right. You know, another really good tip here is, I know that you've probably seen Scotty do this at home. I grew up doing this as well. But most men, when they're either cooking with meat or on a barbecue, you just love to
Play
touch.
with it.
But you really want to make sure that you get a little bit of that caramelisation on the bottom, because that's going to be more flavour. So what I reckon you should do is you leave it for a couple of minutes and then combine.
Waiho kaue raweke. Leave it, don't play with it.
Totally.
Okay. Me whakapono, so just believe.
Just believe.
Oh, look at that, perfect.
Should be great. Now we'll just let that go. Now while that's happening, let's think about everything else. So I might get you to actually slice a few of those, because that's going to become our garnish at the end. So
yes.
Just roughly chop.
Whoops, I ate quite a lot of those.
Did you really? I've measured them. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so 4 eggs, obviously, if we were going to do 4 servings, but it's just you and I today. So I'm going to fry up a couple of eggs when we get quite close to here.
How much cooked rice is that?
There's a couple of cups of cooked rice. Now we can go in with some ketchup manis, which is just basically a sweet soy sauce.
Kōhauki wanganui, so you're putting a hole in the middle there. And how much of this paste am I putting in?
I reckon put a good half of the paste in now.
Wow.
The other half you could put into the freezer for next time, okay? But do it to taste. If you think there's not quite enough in there, you can always add more. So what I'm going to do is slightly cook that out now, okay? So instead of incorporating the whole lot, just slowly move it around. You want it to start to catch on the bottom a little bit, caramelise up again, so you get adding in more flavour. And then you just slowly start to mix it in. And what you'll see happen is that the rice will start to go from that brown colour to a slightly reddish colour, and that's kind of what we're looking for. Okay, so that cabbage can go straight in. And now we're going to put in some tamarind, okay? So this is a slightly sour note, and then that's about a tablespoon of that. And now all we're doing now is cooking it until the cabbage has just wilted through. It's completely up to you, really. If you would like it a little bit crunchy, then leave it a little bit crunchy.
Pēhinga tarawera, and what about this?
Yep, the prawns are going to go with only about 30 seconds to go, because they just really need to be warmed through. So now we want to taste for seasoning. I know that we'll definitely want a little bit of black pepper or white pepper, it's up to you. I love the stuff, so I'm going to go 2 little pinches of that.
Tawa, both of us, so that's good.
And then just a little bit of salt. So we'll do a little bit of that now, and we'll season it just as just before we go to try.
Nah, pini get them paknohi so we look. Oh wow, that looks good. So we want all of that liquid to pretty much go away?
Yeah, for sure, it will as well. It'll just all absorb into the rice.
Okay, warawari a tawa ngā pī, so we don't want to forget those.
You just want to cook those peas so that they keep a bit of their colour. So they go in.
Tahi te raru e hoa, just one problem. Where do we even start? This looks so beautiful.
That's the best thing about food, is you just start at the beginning and it ends when it ends.
Okay. And the heki, whoa, look at that. Running like you said it was.
Totally, really important.
Engari he pakurere ke tēnei. This is a bit different than the egg on every steak that my husband likes.
I might like that too, actually. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Beautiful.
So,
Me tiaki tonu I tētahi wahanga o te puku. I better make sure I've got a bit of room for this guy, because it looks amazing. That is so beautiful.
now this is one of my favourites. The key is to remember here that there are a couple of different soy sauces, but that dark soy is what gives the chicken its kind of really nice reddishly brown colour, but it also just seasons the rice very, very nicely. So,
oh wow, that's delicious.
and the chicken's very tender.
Tēnā kua hoki mai anō. Please do come back.
You know what, I would love to come back. I'm becoming quite addicted.
Yeah.
It's a very nice atmosphere in this place, so thank you very much for the invitation. It's been a real pleasure.
Pai te wairua. It's got a nice vibe here, and it's very much because of you today.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yum, so good.